see the floor. Most of them were from the Lower East Side, had to go to great trouble to come here. The room was barren. No pictures, no furniture, no rug, not even a chair. Only a few plain straw mats. A bulb hung from the ceiling into the center of the room. It was 7 o'clock, and about a dozen had gathered when Swami suddenly opened the side door and entered the room. He wasn't wearing a shirt, and the saffron cloth that dropped his torso left his arm and some of his chest bare. His skin was smooth, golden brown, and as they watched him, his head shaved, his ears long, cloven, and his aspect grave, and seemed like pictures they'd seen of the Buddha in meditation. He was old, yet erect in his posture, fresh and radiant. His forehead was decorated with jewels, clay marking of the Vaishnavas. Prabhupada recognized big bird Howard and smiled. "You have brought your friends?" "Yes," Howard answered in his loud, resonant voice. "Ah, very good." Prabhupada stepped out of his white shoes, sit down on the thin mat, faced his congregation, and indicated they could all be seated. He pairs of brass hand cymbals demonstrated the rhythm. 1, 2, 3. He began playing ringing sound. He began singing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now it was the audience turn. Chant, he told them. Some already know, coach on, and after a few rounds, all were chanting together. Most of these young people and the few young women present heard at one time or another embraced Philadelic voyage, a new world of boldly and recklessly they had entered the turbulent, forbidden waters of LSD, pilot, and magic mushrooms. Heedless and warning, they had risked everything and done it. Yet there was merit in their valor, their eagerness to find the extra dimensions of the self beyond ordinary existence, even if they didn't know what the beyond was, or whether they would ever return to the comfort of the ordinary. Nonetheless, whatever truth they had found, they remained unfulfilled, and whatever they had reached, these young Philadelic had always returned to the Lower East Side, now sampling the Hare Krishna mantra. When the curtain suddenly sprang up, Snor's voice immediately felt that it was going to be something far out. Here was another chance to trip out, and willingly they began to flow with it. They would surrender their minds and explore the limits of chanting for all it was worth. Most of them had already associated the mantra with the musical Upanishad and Gita, which had called out to them in words of mystery, eternal spirits, negating illusion. But whatever it is, this Indian mantra, let it come, they thought. Let its waves carry us far and high. Let's take it and let the effects come. Whatever the price, let it come. The chanting seemed simple and natural enough. It was sweet and wasn't going to harm anyone. It was, in its own way, far out. Prabhupada chanted in his own inner ecstasy. He observed his motley congregation. He was breaking ground in the new land now. As the hand clamps rang the lead and response of the Hare Krishna mantra swelled, filling the evening. Some neighbors were annoyed. Puerto Rican children, enchanted, appeared at the door and window looking, willing come. Exotic it was, yet anyone could see that the Swami was raising an ancient prayer in praise of God. Rock of jazz. He was a holy man, Swami, making a public religious demonstration. But the combination was strange. An old Indian Swami chanting an ancient mantra with young American hippies singing alone. Prabhupada sang on, his shaven head held height and titled, his body trembling slightly with emotion. Confidently he let the mantra absorbed in pure devotion, and they responded. More passers-by were drawn to the front window and opened. Some cheered, but the chanting was too strong. The sound of the kirtana, even the car horns were a faint scatter. The vibration of auto engines and the rumble of trucks continued, but in the distance, now unnoticed. Gathered under the dim electric light in the bar room, the group chanted after their leaders, growing gradually from a feeble, hesitant chorus to an approximate harmony of voices. They continued clapping and chanting, putting into it whatever they could, in hopes of discovering its secret. This Swami was not simply giving some 5-minute sample demonstration. For the moment, he was their leader, their guide in unknown. Howard and Kate's little encounter with Kirtana in Calcutta had left them outsiders, had never before come like this, middle of the Lower East Side with genuine Swami leading them. In their minds were psychedelic ambitions to see the face of God, fantasies and visions of Hindu teachings, and the presumption that it was all impersonal light. Prabhupada had a similar group of devotees, and he knew this group wasn't experiencing the mantra in the plane, reference and knowledge, but he let them chant in their own way. In time, their submission to the spiritual sound, their purification, and their enlightenment and ecstasy in chanting and hearing Hare Krishna would come. He stopped the kirtana. The chanting had swept back in the world, but now the Lower East Side rushed it in again. The children at the door began chatter and laugh. Cars and trucks made their rumbling heard once more, and a voice shouted from the nearby apartment, demanding quiet. It was now past 7:30. Half an hour had elapsed. Maybe somebody else can continue.
Srila, would you like to read? Oh, okay.
Mataji, still are we on 17?
Yeah.
Just I will open the chapter 18 because so we are now today we shall begin. Just a minute. I'm opening on company 2 minutes. On now today, isn't it?
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Now today we shall begin the 4th chapter. Says to Arjuna. His lecture is very basic and yet for restless youth, heavily philosophical. Some can't take it and they rise upon hearing the Swami's first word, put on their shoes at the front door and return to the street. Others had left as soon as they saw the singing was over. This is his best group yet. A few of the Bowery congregation are present. The boys from Moat Street are here. They are specifically for a group. Many in the group have already read Bhagavad Gita and they are not too proud to hear and admit that they didn't understand it. It's another hot and noisy July evening outside his door. Children are on a summer vacation and they stay out on the street until dark. Nearby a big dog is barking. Row, row, row. The traffic creates constant rumbling. Just at the window, little girls are speaking. And all this makes lecturing difficult. Yet despite the distraction of children, traffic, and dogs, he wants the door open. If it is closed, he said, why is people may come in? He continues undaunted, quoting Sanskrit, holding his audience and developing his urgent, while the relentless cacophony rivals his every word. Row, row, row. Eek, yeah, yeah. Shrieking like little Spanish witches, the girls disturb the whole block. In the distance, shouts from his window, get out here, get out of here. Prabhupada asked them not to make noise. Roy, one of the boy in the temple, the man is teasing the kids now. Prabhupada, yes, yes, these children are making a disturbance. Roy, yes, that's what. The man chasing them right now. Prabhupada, they are making noises. Roy, yes, He's chasing them now. But they will be back. You can't chase the children off the street. And the big dog never stopped barking. And who can stop the cars? The cars are always there. Prabhupada uses the cars to give an example. When a car momentarily comes into our vision on the Second Avenue, we certainly don't think that it had no existence before we saw it, or that it ceases to exist once it has passed from view. Similarly, when Krishna from this planet to another, it doesn't mean he no longer exists, although it may appear that way. Actually, he has only left our side. Krishna and his incarnations constantly appear and disappear on throughout the innumerable universes of the material creation. The cars are always passing, roaring and rumbling through every word Rupada speaks. The door is open and he is poised at the edge of river of carbon monoxide, rumbling tires and constant waves of the traffic. He has come a long way from banks of his Yamuna in Vrindavan, where great saints and sages have gathered through the ages to discuss Krishna consciousness. But his audience lives here amid this scene. So he has come here beside Second Avenue's rushing river of traffic, so speak loudly the ageless message. He is still stressing the same point. Whatever you do in Krishna consciousness, however little it may be, is eternally good for you, give than up, down, or on a bowery, telling his hearers to take to Krishna consciousness and becomes devotees. He assures them. Somebody else wanna go ahead?
Srila, do you wanna read? Okay, that's just derelict. So the old derelict returns, announcing his entrance. How are ya? He's carrying something. He maneuvers his way through the group, straight to the back of the temple, where the Swami is sitting. He opens the toilet room door, 2 rolls of bathroom tissue inside, closes the door, and then turns to the sink, sits some paper towels on top of it, and puts 2 more paper towels under the sink. He then stands and turns around toward the Swami and the audience. The Swami is looking at him and asks, "What is this?" The bum is silent now. He has done his work, probably thanking his visitor, who is now moving toward the door. Thank you very much." The bum exits. Just see, Prabhupada now his congregation. It is a natural tendency to give some service. Just see, he is in order, but he thought that here is something, let me give some service. Just see how automatically it comes. This is natural. Okay, should we end there?
I think this.
Is there a line or something?
Yeah, one more. Just finish one more paragraph. It's quick.
Okay. The young men in the audience look at one another. This is really far out. First the chanting was like Buddha and talking about Krishna and chanting, and now this crazy stuff with the bum. But the Swami stays cool. He's really cool. Just sitting on the floor like he's not afraid of anything. Just talking, and us becoming saints, and even the old drunk becoming a saint. After almost an hour, the dog still barks squeal. Prabhupada is asking his hearers, who are only beginners in life, to become truly dedicated preachers of Krishna consciousness. In the Bhagavad Gita, you will find that anyone who preaches the gospel of Bhagavad Gita to the people of the world is the most dear, the dearest person to Krishna. Therefore, it is our duty to preach the principles of this Bhagavad Gita to make people Krishna conscious. Tell them, even if they aren't ready, it's too urgent. The world needs Krishna conscious preachers. People are suffering for want of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, each and every one of us should be engaged in the preaching of Krishna consciousness for the benefit of the whole world. Lord Chaitanya, whose picture is in the front of our store, has very nicely preached the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. The Lord says, just take my orders, all of you, and become a spiritual master. Lord Chaitanya gives the order that in every country you go and preach Krishna consciousness. So if we take up missionary work to preach Bhagavad Gita as it is, without interpretation, without any material motives behind it, as it is, then Krishna says, it shall be done. We should not have any attraction for worldly activities, otherwise we can't have Krishna. But it doesn't mean that we should be inimical to the people of the world. No, it is our duty to give them the highest instruction, that you become Krishna conscious. And a young man in the audience seems unable to contain him and begins making his own incoherent speech. Prabhupada, no, you cannot disturb just now. Man, standing up. Now wait a minute, man. A quarrel begins as others try to quiet him. Prabhupada, no, not just now. No, you cannot ask just now. Man, well, I'm trying to talk. Prabhupada, no, just now you cannot ask. Man, but wait a minute, man, wait. Prabhupada, why do you interfere just now? We have a regular question time. Others in the audience, let the man finish. Yeah, let him talk. The man's supporters defend his right to speak, while others try to silence him. Second man, I have just one question, please. How long is an individual allowed or expected to go on without any type of thought? How long? I'm not finished. We'll give question time after finishing the talk. The part on quarreling. All right. I'm very glad you are curious, but please wait. Because we have not finished. As soon as we finish, after 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I will tend to your question. Don't be impatient, sit down. The audience quiets down and the Swami, after 5 minutes. Prabhupada. All right, this gentleman is impatient. We shall stop here. Now, what is your question, sir? Man, practically, we tend to place emphasis on those we identify with the fact itself. Many people, the why-fores and wherefores of the metaphysical truth that I think, therefore I am. Prabhupada, what is your particular question? I have no answer to that question, rather, but that I attempt, I live, I breathe. Yes, man. So ability, tell me why I hate. May I understand the why-fores and wheres? Prabhupada, that's all right. Man, I have difficulty in you. I have difficulty in saying. Prabhupada, so long as we are in this material world, there are so many problems. Man, not many problems. It is not many problems. This is the greatest fact. I know, Prabhupada, yes. Man, I also know that the whys and where, Prabhupada, yes. Man, I didn't come here, but let me explain my position. This isn't necessarily, I think the difference is to learn. You'll find it innumerable times by the same token. Maybe we are able to reconcile the fact of individual being for a long time to find out why. Prabhupada, turning to one of the boys. Roy, can you answer his question? It is a general question. You can answer, yes? Roy turns sympathetically to the rambling questioner, and Prabhupada addresses his audience. Enough questions. His voice now seems tired and resigned. Let us have kirtan. On the lower east side, chanting begins, the brass cymbals, Prabhupada's voice, the audience responding. Go half an hour and then stops. It is now 9 o'clock. The audience sits before Swamiji while a boy brings him an apple, a small wooden bowl. As most of the audience still sits and watches, gauging the after effects of the chanting as though it had been some new drug. The Swami cuts the apple in half, then in fourths, then in eighths. He takes one himself and asks one of the boys to pass the bowl. Swamiji holds back his head and deftly pops a slice of apple into his mouth, without touching his fingers to his lips. He chews a bit, ruminating, his lips closed. The members of the congregation munch silently on little pieces of apple. Prabhupada stands, slips into his shoes, and exits through the side door. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Haribo!
I think if that happened during COVID, getting toilet paper like that would have been very much appreciated. Oh, that was so nice.
Yeah, it was 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock in America, and in the summertime, so it was bright outside and probably just getting dark towards the end. You get a real sense of the street there going on and all the things going on while he's lecturing. It was quite amazing, all right.
It is. It's like watching a video.
Yeah.
Hearing the sounds and everything. That was amazing how open they were to the chanting, to surrender to the process in a sense.